Thank you for joining our G Suite Basic Professional Development webinar. My name is Carolina Perez. I am an instructional technology technician with the Department of Innovation and Learner Engagement. To get started, I am going to start with a presentation here. The bit.ly is provided for you, so at any point in time, if you need to reference the presentation back, you can access it by going to bit.ly/the Google PD, all lowercase. And what this will do, you will go to the link and it'll automatically create a copy to put in your Google Drive if you are logged in. To all of you, welcome again. We do have a sign-in sheet for you. If you do not have a moment to do it at the beginning of this session, I will ask you again at the end. Please go to this link. You can click it onto if you are accessing the presentation, or you can go to bit.ly/1819 sign in. This is just for us to see who is following along with our webinars, and also to email you the feedback form at the end of the day. Again, bit.ly/1819 sign in. Okay, so we are going to get started. I know there's a few people that we're waiting on. But again, my name is Carolina Perez. I am an instructional technology technician with the Department of Innovation and Learner Engagement. Here is my contact information. My extension is 80310 and my email is below. If you ever feel the need or you have questions regarding Google or any of the topics that we discussed today, or maybe something that we're not discussing today and you have more questions, please feel free to give me a call or email me at your convenience, and I will reply or answer. So for today's webinar, we will be covering what is G Suite, signing in, intro to Drive, intro to Docs, and if time permits, we will be going over the introduction to Google Slides. If you go onto the presentation or onto this bit.ly, if you click on these links, there are resources for you. So it'll have step-by-step instructions. You can also access the video at the end. And before I forget, if you have any questions during this webinar, Sean Brown is here with me. You can go ahead and type in your question and he will answer for you. Or if it's something that I need to adjust to everybody, he'll go ahead and let me know and we'll cover that topic. Okay, so again, if you click on these links in the presentation, you will have access to the resources connected with that specific topic. So what is G Suite? A lot of us are used to the Microsoft software where we go and we use Word, we use PowerPoint, and we use maybe Excel. So what Google has done is they created G Suite core products. And these are some of the core products that are available to you on a cloud-based, so online application base, no need to download software to a device. We have Google Drive, Google Calendar, Sheets, which is the version of Word's Excel. We go Google Slides, which is like presentations or PowerPoint. We have Gmail, Google Hangouts, Google Docs, Forms, and we have a couple more topics such as Google Sites. But just know that G Suite is a suite of applications that can be accessed online using your rusdlearns.net email and password. And if you ever have a question or don't realize maybe some staff don't get their Outlook, you do have an rusdlearns.net password and email. And if you ever have questions accessing that, a student or another staff member, they can give me a call and I'll go ahead and give them that information. Okay, so this is kind of referencing back the comparison between Microsoft and Google. Microsoft is software that needs to be downloaded onto devices. You do use your Outlook with Microsoft products. You use Word, PowerPoint, and Excel. Know that Google has a version of these products as well. There is no software to download. You do need internet connectivity and, of course, a device. And the drive is where everything is going to be stored. You have a couple tools. You have Google Docs, Google Slides, Google Sheets here, and we have Gmail. And this is something that all our RUSD Learn users have. Every staff member, every student has an account. Know that your rusdlearns.net password does not expire. And if you ever see a Google single sign-on, you can go ahead and click that to log in or create accounts. And if you are using that rusdlearns.net account, that will go ahead and sign you in with that click. If you have any questions, again, you can email me. My contact information is in the presentation, or you can go to our RUSD TechWorks website and place a Google work order if you have questions or you have concerns. So the first thing is logging in, and to me, this is the most important part. In order for you to have access to the drive, to docs, to sheets, you need to be logged in with an account. A lot of us have a personal Gmail account, but in this instance, we want to make sure we're logging in with our rusdlearns.net account. One big reason is a lot of the permissions that are set to documents are only to rusdlearns.net users. So if you're signed in using a personal Gmail, you will not have access to a lot of these documents. Also, one cool fact about our rusdlearns.net account is that we have unlimited storage. So you don't need to worry about how many documents are loaded, how many videos. We have unlimited storage with your rusdlearns.net account because it's an education account. Okay, so we are going to get started with Google Drive. I'm going to switch the screen and I'm going to go ahead and just show you a couple of things. Google Drive is your storage. This is where you keep all your work in one secure place. And again, it's online. So it is not housed necessarily on the device. It's housed in the cloud. Go ahead and escape here. My suggestion when you are logging into Google products is to go to drive.google.com. This will take you to the Google Drive. This is where you're going to be housing all your documents, your sheets, anything that you create with your rusdlearns.net account. Okay, so I am logged in, and this is what the dashboard looks like. It has gone through a couple of updates, so if you haven't logged in a while, there is a new look to it. I want to go ahead and kind of show you the dashboard here. So on the left-hand side, you have the new button. This is what will create a new folder, a new document, a new sheet. If you hit more, know that there are more Google products available there for you. Again, once you are logged in with your rusdlearns.net account. We want to work off of the drive. A lot of the times I get staff members that go and just type in Google Docs. They create a new doc and never know where it's housed. So this is a good starting point to everyone, and that's by starting in drive.google.com. Here you will see your actual drive. This is where your information is stored. Team Drive, this is something that we're not going to touch too much on, but this is a drive or a storage place where departments or school sites have created a team drive. You invite several staff members into this drive, and no one is the owner but that drive. Here, you're under My Drive, you are the owner of whatever is created. Again, in Team Drive, it belongs to the team drive, not a particular user. I do know that a lot of staff members give us a call and they say, hey, I got these documents shared with me, but I don't know where to see it. Once you're in drive.google.com, if you click on this shared with me icon here, you'll see all the documents that have been shared with you at some point. So if a principal emailed you a document, or a teacher that you may support emails or shares a Google document with you, you can click shared with me, and that's where you will see these documents. Anything recent is anything recent that was shared with you or that you worked on yourself or you created yourself. You can see that on the right-hand side. These are all my recent documents, and it tells me when I worked on them, if it was today or earlier this week. Starred, we are going to go a little bit into starred documents, but these are things that I starred and I mark them as important. It's also known as almost like a bookmark in your drive. The trash is one that we will also cover. Here is where anything has gone to the trash. You can retrieve these trash items. Once you clear it from the trash, it is permanently gone, but you don't have to worry about deleting items completely because we have unlimited storage. Okay, so I'm going to go back here to my drive. Here you have your search bar. So the good thing about Google is if you type in keywords, it will go ahead and look. So if I type in Google here, it's going to pull up recent accounts, recent documents, or documents that include that term or that word or even that phrase in there. So that's the one neat thing about Google, is that it's easy and searchable. And again, this is searching your drive. This is not searching the browser like google.com. So if I type in, let's do training. Okay, it's going to tell me and show me all the documents that have that term or are titled that. Okay, so that is the search bar. Here, you do have the help button, but hopefully you won't need to use that. We do have your settings gear right here. Another thing that I want you to really pay attention to is this waffle or this array. When you click that on and you are logged into your rusdlearns.net account, this is where you're going to see all your Google applications. So anytime you see that waffle, just know that you can access the drive. You can access any of the most frequently used applications on your account. So Google Docs, or maybe even like Google Classroom if you work in a classroom and you support teachers and students. Here, you will notice that if you are logged in with your rusdlearns.net account, you'll see this logo. I have my picture changed there, but this is how I know which account I'm on. If I click on my drive, or I go to drive.google.com, and things don't look like it's your schoolwork or your work information, click on that logo on the top right, and that's going to tell you what account you're logged into. Make sure that your rusdlearns.net account is the one that is visible, or else this is why it won't allow you to see or view documents that are given permission only to that rusdlearns.net account. And one of my favorite things is the view. Here you'll see I'm very visual. I like to see my drive. I like to see the icons, kind of a little preview of what the document is. But if you like list, you can click this icon here, and that will change the view for you. So mine's loading a little bit. You'll see once I scroll down, these items are going to be showing as a list view, but I'm more visual. I like the tile view here. Give it a second to load. Okay, and my documents are visible here easily. Okay, so that's like the dashboard. That's just something that I want you to kind of remember to start. And when you want to log into your Google account, go to drive.google.com, and this dashboard is what's going to appear once you log in. It does have this little eye icon here. This just kind of views the details of the drive. Like if you need your activity, if you forgot the name of a presentation or a document that you were working on, it gives you that activity information, and it gives you details once you click on one of the folders or one of the documents. Alrighty, good so far, Mr. Brown? Yeah, all right. So I think that one thing for a lot of us, thank you for filling out that survey. It gave me a better idea of where we are, and for the majority of you, you've heard of these things but don't really use them. So it's something that you want to get used to, going to drive.google.com and signing in onto your account. One thing that I know, the end of the year, school year is really almost here, and one way to organize this drive is by creating folders. So do you remember that new button that I showed you there? So I'm going to go ahead and click new, and I'm going to go ahead and click new folder. What this is going to do, it's going to create a folder and you can put documents in it. So it's a good way of organizing yourself throughout the school year, at the beginning of the year and the end of the school year. So here I'm just going to do test folder 1. Okay, I'm going to create it. So I went to new folder, and then I named the folder and I created the folder. So now here my folder appears on the very top of my drive. Remember, you want to be on your drive, not Team Drive, when you're creating folders for yourself. A couple things we can do. We can move files into this folder. So if it's the end of the school year, you can name this folder 2018-2019 school year, and all the important documents that you used but don't want to get rid of can be dragged into that file folder, and it'll be saved, which keeps it nicer, because as you can see, if you get items shared with you or you create documents all the time, your drive is going to be kind of clunky, and mine just has documents probably from like 2015 that I should organize. However, that's what those file folders are for. So this folder, if you right click, you can, one, share it, which is important if you work in an office. Maybe you want to share with the principal secretary, maybe an administrator, or if you work in nutrition services, maybe the director. This is where you would share. You could rename it. You can even color code it. And for myself, I think color coding is important. Maybe if you want to label certain files a particular color, because you're a visual person, maybe you can do that. So I'm going to go ahead and change my color to green. And you'll see that that changes color right there, that little file. If I want to share this folder with someone, I can either share it through a link. If that's usually, it's best if you're going to share with the link if it's a large group of people that you're sharing. You just have to be careful with the sharing setting, and we'll go through that. So if I want to share this folder, I can click share, and I can type in the rusdlearns.net email that I want to share this with. So let's say I am a health clerk, maybe at Arlington, and I want to share this folder and these documents with another health clerk from another high school. I can type in that email, and I'm going to do Sean Brown for today. If I want him to be able to edit any of the content in there, I can have him, I'll click on this little pencil, choose can organize, add, or edit. But maybe you just want them to view and you don't want them to edit any of your forms. You can click view only, send, and it will send him a notification that he now has access to this folder. But the good thing is that he can also go in there and change anything if need be. And that's a good way of collaborating, but that's completely up to you. So that's creating a folder. If you have a document that maybe was already shared with you this school year, or a document you created and you want to put in that folder, it's a simple drag and drop into that folder. So I can take my document. Let's do, actually this will be a good one. Here it's the form, the survey questions that you guys answered for me. I'm going to put that into this folder. It's an easy drag and drop. Let me go here, and then it'll go there and it'll tell me, hey, G Suite Basics, this document here has been moved there. It gives you like about 20-30 seconds. You can undo it if it's the incorrect file. But once I open that folder, there's a little bit delay on there, but once I open that folder, you're going to be able to see the documents that I went ahead and moved there. On the very top where it says My Drive, you're going to see this is test folder number 1, and you can see who your collaborators are or who you've shared this with. So this is the folder that I created. I drag and dropped a couple of documents in there. And then just you guys can think of different ways of why you would create folders. Maybe you have parent folders. You can put all parent information there, or parent letters that you guys have created, and create a folder, have them in one organized location. There's also things that you have. Maybe there's different documents that you have for your school, flyers, and you can create another folder for that, and then just be nice and organized, because you saw mine, it was a little clunky, and we don't want to have an unorganized drive. Okay, so that is your folder. What we're going to do next is we're actually going to go ahead and start creating in Google Docs. Here, I would suggest to always start and create your documents through the drive. So again, I can go to drive.google.com. I can hit that new button, and I'll see Google Docs, and I'm going to click that and create a new one. That's one. Actually, right before we do that, I do want to show you a couple of things that I totally skipped over. We do have a lot of users that are worried about all their Microsoft Word documents. Hey, I already use Microsoft Word. Can I upload them into Drive? And the answer is yes. So we're going to go ahead and do that now. So I apologize, I am going a little bit backwards here. I'm going to go ahead and click New, and I can do a file upload. So if you are a Word user and you're hesitant in the move or the change to Google Docs, just know that all those documents that you've created or used in the past can be uploaded to your Google Drive, and now they'll be stored in here. So if I go to that new button, I do a file upload. I can choose any document that's saved onto my device. So if you have a desktop or a laptop that you're using at work, all those files that you use on a day-to-day can be uploaded. You just click the file that you want, hit open, and now you'll see that it is being uploaded into your drive. So when you click on it, you'll see this preview. You want to go ahead and open it with Docs. But I'm going to show you a little trick that I like to use all the time. So again, if you have files that you use on a day-to-day and you want to move them or upload them into the Google Drive, that is possible by clicking New, File Upload, select the document that you want to upload. And this is not removing the document from your computer. It's simply creating a copy to the drive. And now whatever's in the drive, you can edit and you can share and add collaborators to that. So click it, open. It's gonna tell me in my drive, hey, I'm uploading it. And then that file is now in your Google Drive. If you know you've already created a folder and you wanted this document in that folder, remember it's an easy drag and drop and to put into that file. Okay, so sorry I did have to go back on that one, but I wanted to let you know that that's also possible. If you look at my drive here, it does show that this is a Microsoft Word document. You do have to then change it into a Google Doc by just open with Google Docs. If you don't want to do that all the time, you can go into settings. That's the gear up at the top right, settings. And here I unclicked mine earlier so I can show you this. Convert uploads. Once you upload that and you don't want to go to the process of converting it to a Google Doc, just click here under settings, done. And every time you upload a new document from, let's say, Word, then it'll automatically be converted into a Google Doc. So you don't have to see this W here, preview, open with Google Docs. We don't want that because I know your time is very limited at work. Okay, so that is that. Again, if we want to go ahead and take that, we can move that into one of the folders that we created in our drive. Okay, so now we can move on to Google Docs. And again, we don't want to go and Google the word docs.com. We want to go ahead and select New, Google Docs, and create that. Today, I'm just going to show you a way that I prefer to do it. Here, if I want it to be under that specific folder, I click on the folder, I select New, and then Google Doc. So what this will do is this will create that document and automatically place it in that folder. And so here it's giving me this message, hey, you've shared this folder. Do you want to go ahead and create and share this document with the person you did before? I do. So if that's my administrator, that's actually a good thing. So that way I don't have to go back and share the document. Alrighty. So I went ahead and clicked new, and here is your untitled document. The good thing about Google is that it automatically saves this without you having to go to File, Save. And how many times have we had our computer just either shut down, someone unplugs it, a student comes in and accidentally hits the power button, and it didn't save your document in its entirety? So with Google, it does share it automatically. What I want to do first is change the title. So I'm just going to put title here so I can remember where it is. And if you see, once I've done a change, it tells me all changes save in Drive. And I mean, that's every time you make a change, and it's only in a matter of seconds. So what you want to do is share it. And if you can see this over here, it tells me that it is already, I can move this document because we know it's in that test folder. So this is very similar to Microsoft Word. You have the tabs here that will allow you to do your editing and your formatting. So I'm going to go ahead and start. Here's my test. There's my typing. Okay, so there's a couple of things that we can do with this. One, we've already created the doc. Here's we titled it, and we can simply just start typing our letter or our document, whatever we may be having. If this is something that you're gonna share with another person, you have your share button at the top right. Remember, my folder was shared with Sean Brown, so it already tells me you've shared it with someone. I can share it with a different person here by adding their name. So I'm gonna do S. Diego. This is where their information will appear. By clicking on this pencil, I can give them either view access, they can comment, or they can edit. Okay, so you want to be careful with that, because if you're sharing a document and you don't want someone to edit your information, you can give them a view only copy. They can either print it or make a copy and place it in their own drive and do the editing from there. So Sylvia, I trust. However, I don't want her to edit this document. I just want her to view it. I select the I, and I can send it to her. If this is a document that you want to send out to maybe your school site or a large amount of people, you can also get this shareable link here. And here's the shareable link. This is good if you're going to maybe do an email and send out information to staff. So, or maybe even the district, not sure where all the departments that you guys are from. Once I get this, I can copy the link. The important thing is, once I see that link, there's this little drop down. I have to choose what permissions I want the individuals to have that I share this link with. So anyone at Riverside Unified School District with the link can edit. I don't know if you want to do that, because if this link accidentally gets forwarded, people can go on a document and they can edit. They can comment. In this case, I just want people to be able to view this link. So I go ahead and click view. I can copy this link and email it out maybe to my site staff or all the teachers, or maybe even if it was going district-wide. And then again, we can click send. And that document is now shared. So here are a couple things that we're going to be covering with Google Docs here. If you go to File, I'm just going to go over a couple little things. That share button is there. You can make a copy of this document if need be. So if you want, maybe get ahead of the game and say, hey, I'm going to make a copy for second trimester of this document, you can. When you're done with the document, and maybe you're still more comfortable with Microsoft Word, just know that you can download this document as a Word file. And I do enjoy those PDFs, especially when we're making a flyer for some kind of event. Here, version history is very important. If you are sharing with other people in your department or your site, and they accidentally click something or remove something that wasn't supposed to, you can see the version history of your document. Here you can click back. As you can see, that was the original document. You can restore this version, and so that means it's going to take this document and place it right where it was at the beginning before that error was made or someone went ahead and accidentally edited your document. Okay, I'm going to go back. We're on File. You can rename it, of course. This file here, instead of going to your drive and moving it into a different folder, you can move the file and place it in a different folder by clicking Move, and then it'll ask you where you want this to go. So there's no need to be going back and forth through a couple of windows. If you're not satisfied with it, you want to trash it, you can. And then if you are working maybe like as an interpreter or working with a parent, there's also a way to set this up, and you can start typing it in a different language, and it'll help you detect the spelling and grammar errors. One thing that's important, I know that a lot of time, I believe in Word, you go to edit to do the page setup, but here you can go to page setup, and this is where you would either do a landscape document, portrait. You can change your margins on here, even the page color if you're creating something that is not necessarily like a letter. So I'm gonna go ahead and click OK. If you need a print, again, that's under File. Editing, this is where you can do all your undos and your redos. You can cut, copy, and paste. A lot of your little formatting will be there. Your view, you can go here and you can see the mode. So if you've given someone the ability to just view, you can see what they see there. Just like Word, you do have your rulers, but you have the option to show them or not show them. I personally like to have them there. And then you can do a full screen if you need to see the document in its entirety. Inserting, there's a couple of fun things when you go to insert. The fun thing about Google is that, of course, it's on the cloud, so it's obviously just connected to your drive, and it's connected to browse through the internet. If you want to go to insert, and let's say I'm going to insert an image, you can select where you want this image to be chosen from. I'm going to search the web. The cool thing is it doesn't open a new tab. It lets you search the web right then and there. So I'm going to go ahead and select dogs. I'm going to go ahead and choose the picture of the dog that I want, so you don't have to copy and paste it on here or save an image and load it. You can go ahead and just click, insert the image, okay, and your image will appear there. So you can, just like Word, you can manipulate the size. You can have your image in the center. You can replace the image if you want. And we're going to leave that just right there. I'm going to click off, insert. So that was images. You can also select your drive. If you have a URL to it, you can also do that. Or if you want to go to camera, if your device has a camera, you can take a picture of yourself, add it in there. You can also insert your tables, and this is pretty neat because you can select the columns and rows that you want. You can do charts. There's special characters, and your headers and footers are also in the Insert tab. You can add a link. So if you want to add a link to a website or another presentation, a document, you can do so. The cool thing with Google is that you can also leave a comment. If you want to include a collaborator in there, so I shared my document with Mr. Sean Brown and Sylvia Diego. If I wanted to assign or have them look over a specific section, I can add their name here. Is it the plus? I can add here, and I'm going to do S. Brown here. And I'm going to tell them, please check. Okay? This does not insert text in the document. It leaves a comment on the document, and I want to assign it to him. So that way it'll give him a notification that he has an assignment on this document or whatnot, and he can go ahead and do the editing, and he can also say, okay, that part is done. So I'm going to assign it to him and share with one person, comment. Okay, so now that comment's going to be there, and then when Mr. Brown gets that notification, he can do what changes need to be done. He clicks it, and then it's marked as done. Okay, so that's in our insert tab. format, it's your basic alignments and line spacings that you can do on here. I just want you to know that the same formatting options that are available through Word are also available here through Google Docs. Okay? So here we have tools, and I've loved using tools, especially with a lot of the interpreter trainings that we've had, because this is where a lot of cool stuff you can find. So here you'll see this explore option. Of course, it has the spelling, the word count, just like Word, but we have this explore option here where, again, you can explore and search for things on the web without having to leave this tab, which is the fun thing, because a lot of the time we open Windows and we don't even know where we got our items from, but you can explore and you can do searches here. Again, under tools, I also have the dictionary. I can type in a word. Maybe someone shared a document with me and I need a little bit more clarity on a particular word. I can type that in, and the information or in the definition for that word will appear. Again, under tools, you can translate the document, and what I've learned from our district interpreters are that we wouldn't want to necessarily translate it a full document. Sentences and words are good. So if you have maybe a Spanish speaking parent and you're writing a letter, you can do little phrases or short sentences, and that'll help you there with translating. But again, we maybe not want to translate an entire document. We don't know if it's 100% accurate with Google Translate. One thing that I know students, staff, everyone has enjoyed is this voice typing. I'm not sure if this one has a microphone. Maybe it does. This laptop, does it have a mic? Not sure. Well, we're going to try it. But if you go to tools and you go to voice typing, you can click that button. Let's go ahead and allow it. And we're going to test if this device has a microphone connected to it. As you can see, I'm not typing, but it is picking up every word that I'm saying and kind of typing it out for me, period. Okay, so that's kind of cool. And if I don't click stop, it's going to continue typing what I'm speaking. But that's a cool little feature for you that, again, is under tools, voice typing. This microphone will pop up. You have to allow, and that's only if your device has a microphone attached to it. Sometimes you can get a headset and it has a little microphone to it, but that is one of our little neat options that we like to show our students, our staff, and our teachers. Okay, so that is under our tools section. We do have our activity dashboard as well. Here, what this does, it's almost like showing you a little bit of analytics here. If you want to know who has viewed your document because you shared it out with teachers, and sometimes we know that teachers don't have all the time in the world to go and click on every link or everything that's shared with them, but if you want to know who's viewed your document, under activity dashboard, it'll tell you. So last viewed, obviously it's probably only been me. I don't see Sean or Sylvia that have used it because I just shared it with them. Okay, so those are our tools. Here under add-ons, there are add-ons that are available through the Chrome web store, and we really won't get too deep into this, but there are things that'll help you maybe add on to this document or to your experience in Google Docs. One that I can tell you is Easy Accents that we've used. To look for these add-ons, you can go on Get Add-ons, and it'll take you to like the virtual store where you can buy, or not buy them, but select them and add them to your profile. But we won't get too much into that. And then again, if you ever need help, it's going to go ahead and give you that information. If you need keyboard shortcuts, you need docs help, or you can type in what it is that you are looking for. Alrighty, so that is a little bit of information with Google Docs. Again, it's best to start with drive.google.com and create your new documents based on there. We've shared, okay? And as you can see, not my logo, but my little picture is there, and I'm making sure I'm working under my rusdlearns.net account So that way it's going to be stored into my drive. If you look here, this is something new with Google on the right. Know that there are, like we talked about earlier, we do have different tools that are available with the G Suite product. One of them is Google Calendar. If you are creating a flyer, maybe looking at events or maybe trying to schedule things into your calendar, Google has recently come up with this little sidebar here. It has your Google Calendar, Google Keep, and then Google Task. So this is, instead of you navigating back and forth from different tabs, you can just click your calendar here, schedule events, or just go ahead and maybe like a reminder if it's something that has to do with this document. It'll access it there right away. You'll have Google Keep, which is kind of like a note-taking system here, like just say like a Post-it. And if you want to put a note, maybe, hey, I found this link to myself, and then you can just tag it there and it'll save it for you. This will actually open up on most of like the doc sheets and whatnot. And then we have Google Task here, where you can give yourself a task if you know that you are writing maybe a document and you're like, oh, I need to make sure this document is done by a specific date. You can give yourself a task, and then that'll appear every time you go there. Okay, so I closed out that document. And where do I find it? So again, I told you drive.google.com is probably the best way to get around everything. Okay, we did talk about recent. So if I go to recent, it's going to show you that document that we just created moments ago. Okay, so again, it's always a good idea to navigate back to Drive to find the documents that maybe one were shared with you or that you created and you close it out. But where do you access it? You access it through going through drive.google.com. Okay, so those are some of our basics with Google Docs. Now, I think we have enough time where we can start with Google Slides. Again, if you have questions, feel free. Mr. Brown is there to respond. This little webinar will be posted on our YouTube site. So you're just going to click on that link that I sent out to you or that you got with your email. It'll be there in case you need to reference something. Also, at the end, I'm going to give you some information or let you know that I'm going to send out a feedback form. In this feedback form, if you want more information on something that wasn't covered, maybe Google Forms, Google Sheets, Google Sites, please let me know in that feedback response so that maybe we can as a whole come back together and do another webinar and cover those topics. But we just didn't want to do an overload of all of G Suite because we want you to actually get those experiences on Docs and Drive and kind of master that first and then move on to different things. So remember at the end when I email you that link, please let me know if you need more information on other Google products so that way more information can be sent out to you, or maybe we can provide another webinar or like a personal training. Okay, so I'm going to close that out. Here we are going to go into Google Slides, and this is going to be super brief. But to get started, again, and your starting point should be drive.google.com. We select new, and we're going to go to Google Slides. So this is like Microsoft's equivalent of PowerPoint. And all your PowerPoints as well can be uploaded into the Google Drive. Some of the formatting may be a little off because their animation is a little bit different than the ones that Google has. However, most of your information will be there. It can be uploaded. But if you want to get started with the presentation, we're going to go to Google Slides. Again, just like in Docs, you want to title it. Okay. Google Slides does have themes, but before we do that, let's talk about that sharing. Is this a document that a slide presentation that you're going to be sharing with others, that you're going to be collaborating with another staff member? If it is, remember you can click share and type in the name. If this is a presentation that maybe is going to be handed out at the beginning of the school year and you want to email it to other schools or your site, you can get that shareable link. Okay, remember, anyone in Riverside Unified School District with the link can view. You can copy this link here, email it out to school sites or staff, or if you just want to share it with 1 or 2 people, you can go ahead and do that by adding them here. Remember that this little pencil has a drop down. Do you want to give them editing capability? Do you want to allow them to add a comment? Or do you just want them to view the presentation? When you're done, hit done, and those items will be shared. Again, you can use that link and email it out to staff, email it out to your school site or whatnot. So we titled our document, we have our sharing done, and now we can get started. So this little window pops up automatically, and you have different themes that Google has, kind of preloaded. You can import a theme, but in this case, we're just gonna choose one of the options that's already here for me. I'm gonna go ahead and click this theme here. I can add my title. I can add my subtitle. To add a new slide, you can of course go to file, but we want to just click this little plus sign. That's going to create your new slides. Okay, same kind of features as Google Docs. You can also, on this one though, you can change the layout. So if you've added a new slide and you don't like that layout, you can go ahead and change that. That should appear here in your toolbar here. Okay. So file, same as Google Docs basically. Editing is the same. You can view a little bit differently here because obviously this is a presentation. You can present, which would be the full screen, is what we did at the beginning of the webinar. Insert is kind of neat on this one because one thing that we used to worry with PowerPoint is inserting videos where you have to copy it, you have to download it. So the cool thing with this, if I go to the insert tab here, I can insert a video. And because YouTube is part of Google, it's not one of the core products, but it's part of Google, you can go ahead and we'll do dogs again. It's gonna search videos with dogs. Of course, if you have a URL or it's a video that's already uploaded or moved into your Google Drive, you can search. But it's pretty neat that you can go into YouTube, select the video. Obviously, always view the video before you add it into your slide. So we're gonna do this one. I'm gonna select it and click that blue select button. Now that video is gonna automatically be embedded into that slide. When you hit present, you hit that play button and that video from YouTube will appear there, okay? So that's one neat feature that I do appreciate about Google Slides. Again, you don't have to do it, but if you are doing something where you need to insert a video, it's good. Also, if you are maybe like an instructional aide and you're supporting your students, this is a good kind of place to show them what they want to insert. They can also insert an image just like in Google Docs. And with Google Docs, with Google Slides, you can also find an image that's already in your drive, or you can search the web. I don't want my cat lovers to be mad at me, so I'm gonna put a cat in here and I'm gonna select insert, and then that image is gonna be on my slide, okay? So that is something that is pretty neat with Google Slides. You can continue adding slides. You can duplicate a slide. You can copy a presentation that maybe you've had from the past and modify it, insert it here. Changing your background is under slides and different layouts as well. I don't think we'll have too much extra time to go too forward with this, but just know that a lot of the same features and tabs that you had with Docs goes on to Google Slides, and then same would go with like Sheets. Okay, when you are done, you can present here, or you can share it out, and we've kind of talked about that. Again, that toolbar with your calendar, your Google Tasks, and Google Keep is also on there. Alrighty, so I know that's a brief introduction to Google Slides, but like I said, when I email you that feedback form, please make sure to put in that information of what else you need us to cover, and we'll do our best to go ahead and meet your needs. So I'm going to go ahead and go back here to this presentation. I am going to show you the bit.ly again. So I know an hour is a short amount of time, but I do want to show you the bit.ly. So if you go to this link, so write it down, bit.ly/the Google PD, all lowercase. It'll take you to this presentation, and it'll have the links and the resources that I've used to learn all of G Suite basics on there. And then before we leave, I do need you guys to sign in. This is where I'm going to get all of my information so I can reach out and maybe say, hey, do you guys need more info from us? It is bit.ly/1819 sign in. So I'm going to show you that really quickly. bit.ly/1819 RUSD sign in. Is that what it was? No. Let me go here. I'll get it for you. Yeah, I'm wondering if my bit.lys are off. So here, when you click on that presentation, you can find the link there. It's simple information, your email. You can use your Outlook, your K-12, or your RUSDlearns.net account. And then just here, I know it doesn't give specific school sites, but just let me know where you're working, and then a couple more questions on the next page, and you are ready to go. Ready, Mr. Brown? Any questions that need to be answered? Ready? If you guys have any questions, we have a couple more minutes. Is there any other topic that you think we would like to cover in a future webinar? You can let us know. But if that's all for today, I think I am done. Okay. Was it okay? Too fast. bit.ly/the Google PD.